Deep within the historical heart of Nelson Mandela Bay lies the suburb of Central, once a vibrant, clean, cosmopolitan and well-serviced area that in recent times has succumbed to the whims of an uncaring municipality and delinquent residents. The ironically named Hope Street is an example of what it looks like today. Councillor Terri Stander, thanks for joining us today. Looking around Hope Street, the illegal dumping and visual neglect are impossible to miss. We know the municipality has waste management schedules, so where is the breakdown happening? Is this an enforcement failure against illegal dumpers or a lack of basic municipal resources being deployed to Central?
Both. I had a waste meeting interdepartmental last week with the Department of Public Health. There are three sub-departments within it, which is your public health and safety, your solid waste management, and then I also had the town rangers there. The MBDA was absent, but we managed to get to the crux of some of the issues. Number one, law enforcement is a problem. Department of Public Health and Safety indicated that they do not have enough inspectors. So that means that there aren't enough people to go around to ensure that flats and businesses actually have waste management contracts, for example, and there are not enough street cleaners in Central itself. So the Central SRA does a very good job, but what they've done is it's been compartmentalized because there isn't really anybody taking responsibility for Central. You've got Central SRA, which is the special ratings area. It's a board. They pay about a 10% levy extra on their rates to get decent service delivery, which obviously is lacking. And so they'll have crews that clean a certain number of streets. And then we've got Nelson Mandela Bay Solid Waste Department that'll clean its streets. And then the MBDA, depending on which side of the bed it wakes up, will either be cleaning or not cleaning streets that have been allocated to it. But its streets are generally the most dirty. So there's compartmentalization, not enough resources, and just general neglect.
Terri, many of the derelict and rundown buildings in this immediate area have become magnets for crime and antisocial behaviour, directly impacting the safety of residents and businesses. What legal and structural powers do you actually have as a ward councillor to force absentee landlords to secure these problem properties or to get the Metro to declare them problem buildings?
I've been driving the issue of problem buildings since the day I was elected. Within the first 2 months, I like to dive deep, and I don't like to just look at the symptoms, why, the pothole, the crime. I want to know why those issues exist. And there is a problem building bylaw, which has great teeth. But many of the problem buildings in the area have been on that list for longer than 10 years. So the building inspectorate will come and do their investigation, do the inspection, but then the notices are issued which won't be complied with, and then it eventually has to lead into legal action, and that is where everything stops. So Nelson Mandela Bay has its own legal services department, but what it does is it outsources all its legal things. And what I found at one integrated meeting where I had architects, budget and treasury, who else, building inspectorate and legal services, there seemed to be two different departments who both had cases against the same property, one for rates, one for building contraventions, with two different lawyers, and they didn't even know about it. So there are measures, but as a councillor, I don't have the administrative, in fact, it's a legal prescription that the political arm and the administrative arm may not interfere with each other. So I can provide oversight, I can ask the questions, I can push, but I cannot make them do their job. And the building inspectorate is doing its job. It is coming to inspect the properties, etc. But then as soon as it gets to legal services, no one wants to actually touch the problem buildings. There are some properties that owe over 750,000 Rand in rates. Now, what the municipality should be doing is implementing its debtors management policy. So if a property owes the municipality, money, let's attach that property.
Sure.
Let's auction it off. Let's recoup some of the rates that are outstanding. And then whoever buys that property, we give them a 12-month period so that it doesn't stay derelict or undeveloped
Sure.
until, they become a problem. But these buildings attract crime. It's undoubted. And the Central SRA, with its own money, the ratepayers of Central have paid for the demolition of 2 buildings. One is behind me. You'll see the grey building, and then the one next to it that's full of rubble.
Yes.
That was very costly, but that was demolished. That was a problem building and demolished. And there was another one in Clyde Street, which they demolished. A number of these buildings need to be demolished, but a number of the landlords or the owners also allow their properties to become derelict. So they've got the excuse of, oh dear, there's nothing more I can do. Because it's a heritage building, you're supposed to, try and maintain it. Anything over 60 years, which is basically all the properties here. And then what they'll say is, oh, I can't save the building now, I need to demolish, just to give them that excuse.
As Ward Councillor, Terri regularly engages with the residents of Hope Street. She knows about the challenges they face, but her powers are largely limited to oversight and trying to ensure that the administration is held to account.
One of the issues is the municipality claims that we've got water shortages in the reservoirs, but there are so many water leaks that go unattended to. This particular fire hydrant here has been going on like this for over a year. And what local residents are doing is they're actually using this bucket, for example. We've just managed to miss someone who was actually using this and scooping up the water into the bucket. And the local residents use it here as free water. But over a year, this kind of leak at this pace, I'm sure it could have filled, I don't know how many rugby stadiums.
This seemingly eternal spring in Hope Street is just one of many signs of the inner city decay that has been enabled by the Nelson Mandela Bay municipality. Many fear that the point of no return has already been reached and that regeneration and repair are impossible. But there are those who live in hope that the local government elections to be held in November will return an administration with the political will and capacity to put this potential jewel in the civic crown back together.